Education. It was important to me when I was young. It made me forget about the struggles of living in my hometown, the Bronx, New York. I enjoyed learning new things that weren't seen in my neighborhood. It also taught me that there was a world out there with the events that took place that we were told about in school, such as the Space Shuttle Columbia's first launch. I saw that in school. Ayatollah Khomeini as a threat to the United States back in the day. That was also taught in school. The eruption at Mount St. Helens. A lot of destruction, a lot of despair, and we knew about it in school. President Reagan and Anwar Sadat shot by a gunman. That showed us that there's violence in the world at times. But the most memorable experience above all is the memory of the teachers, especially those that served in the military, like Mr. Adler, who taught me how to make coffee in class. Mr. Leo, who had a love for science. He loved everything there was about science, and he loved teaching it with a passion. The aviation high school instructors that taught us the aviation trade that we came to learn about, all prior Armed Forces members. They made a difference because they were different. But it seems like education is slipping in our country, according to a CBS article on www.cbsnews.com called U.S. Education Slips and Rankings. It discusses that in adults from the range of 25 to 34 years old, the United States ranked 9th among other nations when it came to these same people having high school diplomas. We were 7th with individuals in that same age group that actually had a college degree. So one would think, what does this have to do with anything? Well, I feel that from going from kindergarten to high school, our young generation need to make it from kindergarten to high school as a springboard to higher education. Without it, the desire to learn will not continue. It will allow their dreams to be fulfilled. And let's talk about our future generation. Most of them come from low-income areas and are culturally diverse, whether they're Hispanic, Asian, African American, or Middle Eastern. I've experienced that as a recruit division commander because every recruit that came to my U.S. Navy were from these areas, and they all carried a heavy load, heavy baggage of problems that they left behind. A lot of negative surroundings, single parents working hard, neighborhood crime, television as a distraction at times. All were negative surroundings that these young kids are facing right now. And then of course the current school system seems to be ineffective in our country, where many of our young kids growing up not even knowing what's going on in the world. Some don't even know where the country of Iraq is. So one of the fixes to this problem was called Troops to Teachers. It started in 1994, and it's now a part of the No Child Left Behind Act that was started in 2001 by the Bush administration. It basically recruits prior military service members to have careers in teaching. They're expected to teach in low-income areas throughout the United States of America. And they're also used to relieve the shortages of teachers in math, science, special education, and technical areas. They can get up to $5,000 or $10,000 a year to help with certification and training leading to a career as a teacher. So what do these military members bring to the table? Why military members? Well, I'll tell you. Most of them come from those areas. As I told you before, most of the young kids that I have taught in boot camp all came from rough areas and bad neighborhoods, and many have successful careers as service members in our military. So they would know what these young kids are going through and would know how to relate and to teach them. They're all technical experts. No matter what job you do in the military, you do become that technical expert, whether it's in aviation, intelligence, or construction. It doesn't matter. These men and women are technical experts and can use that to teach in those critical areas that are needed. They can lead by example by that discipline that we're taught in the armed forces, and we're well traveled. We've seen the world. We've seen the ugliness in it. Knowledge and experience. Many have experience as instructors or trainers by some certifications that they hold. And then, of course, most importantly, mentorship. It's always good to mentor the young kids of today because that's what they seem to not have at times. And members of the armed forces are used to that because they receive it and they can give it. To be eligible, according to www.2.ed.gov for the Troops to Teachers website, to be eligible for this, you have to have been honorably discharged from the military, whether it be by retirement or separation, have a bachelor's degree or higher, and you must agree to teach for a minimum of 3 years. But of course, the majority of those teachers end up continuing on and having careers as teachers because to them, it's a higher calling. And then, of course, technical proficiency. You have to have some kind of technical proficiency in your background, such as your MOS or your rate, such as Master Training Specialist, or certification as an aviation structural mechanic, or flight engineer, whatever job that leads you to be that technical expert. You say, what's in it for me? Why do I need to do it? Well, as members of the armed forces, we know about duty and to serve. It's a higher calling. You mold the future of America, and you have a chance to give back to your community. In the event that you can't do a full 20 years in the military, you can still find a different way to serve our country. You already have what is needed based on that experience and technical proficiency. And it can also propel your career in other ventures, such as having your master's degree in the future, or your PhD, maybe a professorship at a college, a principal, a school board chairman. It's not about the money. In the end, you reap what you sow. Thank you very much.